there was a flare away that we were setting actually for Sullinger, and Brandon didn't think it was there, and it probably wasn't. So it was great defense on Detroit's part. And then he did, he could have tried to score that, but at the same time, what's going through his head is probably the play first. And then he didn't, he didn't end up taking the shot, and so we called a timeout and got it back, and again got what I would consider to be a reasonable look after that. 30 points off turnovers is not going to do you much good. Again, I think it's easy for all of us, myself included, to be really focused on we had a 19-point lead and didn't win the game, but we got outplayed for 36 minutes. And, in a 48-minute game, that's usually a bad sign.
Okay, this is the Brandon Jennings segment of the show. He was launching threes all night, and he was scoring all night, and he was passing all night. He finishes at 28 and 14. Evans, the big plays were those clutch threes with Avery Bradley all over him at the end of that game.
Yeah, they were. And Bradley did nothing wrong. He guarded him really well every time, and Jennings just made shots right in his face. You just can't guard that. He just put them up, and they just went in, and I'm at a loss.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly what he said. I mean, when after the game you're talking about Avery Bradley's defense, even though Brandon Jennings was hitting these shots, I mean, that just goes to show you, like, some guys, I mean, as they said after the game, like, you just, like, shrug your shoulders, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do about that. Avery Bradley was literally just on him. I think one time I thought it was a foul.
We all thought it was a foul,
yeah. That one play, and the shot went in, or did... I'm not sure if that one went.
No, that was the miss. That was the miss.
Okay, yeah. But that was just an example of how in his face he was on him. And Jennings was hitting a lot of those shots. I mean, that's just when a shooter's on, there's nothing really you can do about it.
He was making shots and flopping to get a foul in the
act.
It's pretty impressive what he was doing.
Sticking out the foot and flopping. I mean,
who said that after
he managed to make
Courtney Lee was talking about
Courtney
that.
Was saying it, yeah.
He said that twice just to really hammer that point.
Yeah.
I mean, Courtney was right. I mean, not only was Jennings kicking out that leg, too. I mean, Avery was right on top of him when he was coming down. And there was one where Avery when Avery came underneath him and Jennings landed on him and they called a foul. That was the right call.
Yep.
But Jennings, when he's on. He's just one of those guys that he's got this unbelievable hot streak in him.
And 14 assists, too. Let's not forget about that. I mean, that's nothing to rush off.
Yeah, I mean, it was 14 and 4 turnovers, and he shot 9 of 21. Like, it wasn't a fantastically efficient game, but he made a lot of plays, and he got the shots on the stretch that counted.
He'll take it in. And Detroit's a team that, I mean, going in, I was zoned in on their big men, Drummond, Monroe, Smith, down low. I mean, they lead the league in points in the paint. But it was their guard. It was Jennings tonight that really ended up killing them in the end. So
the funny thing is Celtics win points in the paint 54-52 and they only had one more field goal attempt. So pretty even matchup right there.
Pistons are first in NBA in points in the paint. So
yeah, I mean, they got 3 giants scoring them. So
right.
And they have pretty much guys that can only score in the paint. So.
Right.
Well, Josh Smith thinks he can score from anywhere, but
Josh Smith, though, in the fourth quarter, he was hitting some jump shots that were really.
He drove some daggers to the Celtics.
Yeah.
That's
when those are falling, like I said, nothing you can do about it because you'll give up the Josh Smith jumper.
We covered plenty of games here in the past where Josh Smith has missed those shots.
Oh my gosh,
he was due to win one here.
Yeah.
The
Hawks were like,
tonight he was pretty
awesome. Where was that before, bro?
I think every time he hits one of those, he just says in his head, "For the haters."
Yeah, probably.
And we'll still hate on it. Andre Drummond. 16 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 very big block shots, 14 points, 7 or 11 from the field. You just keep rambling on. The numbers, efficient and huge.
And can't play in the fourth quarter because they'll just foul him every time. He's a 36% free throw shooter.
He didn't have a single free throw attempt tonight.
Yeah, well, they were hacking, and they had a foul to give, and then after the foul to give, they took him out.
That's pretty bad, though, that they couldn't get him to the line at all time. I mean, that's just...
They were trying.
That's defense right there. It's playing defense, fouling him like that. I mean... 36% from the free throw line. You'll take that over the 4-foot, turnaround, whatever it is, under the hoop. But Drummond, we were talking about top 10 centers when we were talking about Ashik in the last video.
Definitely.
I mean, this guy, he's
a
franchise.
They probably couldn't even get him for Rondo at this point.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
It's Monroe for Rondo.
No way.
Yeah.
Zero chance that you can get Rondo for Drummond.
He's one of the most valuable assets in all of basketball right now.
I agree.
He's
on a rookie deal,
Yeah, he's younger than me, for God's sakes. I'm like fresh out of college, and he's younger than me. Can't you tell? By the baby face.
Moving on.
Professionalism. So, we talked about Jennings. We talked about Drummond. We didn't really talk about Monroe. There's nothing to talk about there.
I like Monroe.
Yeah, no, he's a good
wasn't
player.
it like a rumor for Rondo and somebody for Monroe and
Yeah.
Yeah.
somebody? Would you do that?
Depends who the and somebody is, but
Well,
yes,
I
probably.
don't know. The base is Rondo for Monroe. I think it was
I-
Rondo for Monroe and at the time,
Brandon Knight.
Brandon Knight. Yeah, at the time, Brandon Knight.
I would love to be
It's
able.
a toss-up. I don't know.
I would love to be able to interview a guy named Moose on a nightly basis. That would be awesome. Rajon Rondo's a better basketball player than Greg Monroe is
Right.
at this point.
But
Greg
then-
Monroe's pretty young. He's still got
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of time to develop.
Is he younger than you?
He's about the same age as me.
Couldn't care
Baby
less.
face.
Oh my
But
He's a
God.
good passing big man too.
He is,
he's
yeah.
he's a
Monroe.
good all-around power forward. He's not a superstar by
He's a
any
good all around
means.
center. I mean, he's
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
he
you
can
can
play
put him at the center, but he's a prototypical power forward that's able to move into the center position the way like Al Horford, Jared Solinger does. But he's a guy that
Bigger.
he could be an 18-10 guy for you, and that's great.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a defensive showstopper? Probably not.
No.
That's
Perfectly decent.
That's the difference there. But he's not going to be a guy that's going to run the team for you the way Rondo does. So that's the downgrade risk that you're taking there.
I suppose.
Okay,
I agree.
well, good discussion.
No, I
Good
agree. I mean,
discussion.
well, you're trading a
So
point guard for a
hypothetical
center.
trade from months ago. Like we can move on. It's fine.
I mean, you can't trading a point guard for a center. You can't really knock Monroe for not being able to run the
It's
team.
hard to compare
Yeah,
them.
right.
Okay, so just last thing, Jared Solinger, we just have to acknowledge that he's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay?
Continues to be awesome.
Broken record. He's awesome every night.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged.
Part 3, baller of the night, boxing out. We'll be right back.